So welcome to Emmanuel's Manu, and today we've invited a special guest, a really good friend of mine. His name is Kush, and yeah, he's like one of my best friends that and he's a friend that I've known in these few years from Fortnite. We played Fortnite together before, and then you know we stopped playing together, but the friendship remains, and it's amazing. Trust me. So he's from India, and wait, just tell me, tell them something about yourself.
Okay, thanks for the lovely introduction. My name's Kush, and as he said, I'm from India. I've studied marketing from a very prestigious college here in India. I did my MBA. I worked for a few years. Currently, I'm following my passion, trying to, you know, make a living out of something which I love to do, which is gaming. So I have a channel as well for that. And yeah, that's all about it. And about how we met, then Fortnite, one of the most cringest game, if I would say. But
Yeah,
yeah, you never you never know. Online friendships last way too long as compared to what people think about.
yeah. Remember,
Like,
like there are times when I'm like really sad. I don't know if it's like my grandma passed away or something like that, and then you
mhm,
called me,
yes,
and I was really
I
moved by
was
that.
I was daily checking up on you because I was really unsure if there is somebody else who's doing the job which I was doing. So I was like, I have to be daily checking up on him just to see if he's doing well or not.
And
Which is what friends do, right? So
yeah,
it's
yeah,
not a big deal. You don't have to mention it.
yeah, and and when you got injured, I was kind of worried too, and I called you. Yeah,
Yes, definitely.
and and
Uh,
I'll be honest, like even like some of my friends in real life haven't like rarely calls me in those occasions or call each other in those occasions, and I feel
mhm.
like our friendship is really something that's really
And
like worthwhile.
that's the best part about having an online friendship. People don't realize how important online friendships are or how valuable online friendships are. So like even my IRL friends, my so-called best friend, we both are living in the same city. I don't think so. I've seen him in the past year or so. It's just that everybody is busy in their own life, and the fact that with online friends is you either play together every day, every week, or whenever you play, things begin from the point where you leave them from. Like there's the thing about catching up is it's very normal catching up with online friends. Like, what have you been doing? Okay, let's start playing. That's all about it. Whereas in front of like IRL friends, it's very different and it's very complicated.
Yeah, I feel like it's easy to like hang out, mm,
Mm-hmm.
hang out online rather than like hang out in the real life. And sometimes people feel like it's weird to hang out online if you're a friend in a real friend that's living close to each other. But if you're online friends, like the only way that you're gonna communicate is through online activities, and it's easier to go online and talk to friends in that context relatively to
Absolutely. Also, it's about the consistency. Like if you're visiting your friend, your IRL friend, you could be doing it once every week, maybe max to max, but you won't be doing it like every single day for 4 hours straight. You just can't do that. It's weird. It's weird doing it for every single day for 4 hours every day. But when it comes to online friends, you can do it because you're indulging yourself in such online activities. Wherein if you guys are playing together, if you guys are editing together, if you guys are doing anything together, you are spending time together every single day, and which doesn't make it weird. First and foremost, like
hmm
it doesn't make you weird or it doesn't feel weird at all doing things in such a manner.
yeah, yeah, yeah.
So that's the best part about online friendships is that you can talk for like 4 hours every single day, and There's nothing weird about it.
And you get used to it, and then it became like a habit for you.
Exactly.
You know,
Yeah,
get
it
online
it
and
more or
hang
less
out.
becomes a habit, and you just slowly and gradually get used to it.
Ah, we should one day like play Valorant together again. You know, you're playing Valorant now and
Yes.
streaming, and that's amazing. And I sometimes join your stream and say something, because
Hmm.
and it's fun to watch. Sometimes you randomly pick some character to play,
Hmm.
like do a draw or something like that. Really amazing.
Yeah, yeah. We really be doing anything on the streams lately.
Well, tell me, do you sacrifice something when you play, like something else when you're playing games, like sacrificing the time you spend with others, or like family, lover, something like that?
Everything comes with a cost, right? So
Yeah.
if I'm spending like 6 hours every day playing, I'm not using those 6 hours with my friends or family or with anything else or on myself productively. But if I'm taking, for example, if I'm considering streaming as I said, I'm trying to turn my passion into my profession and whatnot, right?
Yeah.
So if I'm streaming for 6 hours every day, I'm playing 6 hours every day. That's just work. That's just a form of work which doesn't look like work, but that's work. That's equal to someone going to the office every morning and coming back every evening.
Yeah, that's something I want to talk about, because like I wonder like, well, how people that are around you in India look at
Hmm.
gaming, or look at these kind of habits, and whether like they feel like it's not serious, it's
It's
too
it's
casual or something
more
like
or
that.
it's more or less on the generational gap, I would say.
Hmm.
So like the older generation never considered gaming a good thing. Then like if I'm talking older generation, I'm talking like really really old. I'm talking my grandpa, my great grandpa, and people like that. Okay, so how things work out here is, so first and foremost, outdoor sports is still given more value as compared to indoor sports. And when I'm talking indoor sports, I'm talking about online games, esports, and whatnot. Okay,
So
so
people.
if a person is playing football, he's
Mhm.
given, or he's playing cricket, he is still given like more respect out there. Uh, like how do I put it in? Because parents don't really know this future scope of esports, right? They don't really understand
E-sport.
what esports or online games have to offer for their child, right? But when it comes to cricket, they've seen their national team perform and whatnot. So that makes a crucial difference. Second of all, lately esports have been on a very high rising curve in India as well. You will see every other person playing video games,
Hmm.
and you the amount of streamers who have increased on YouTube or Twitch or any other streaming platform from like past 2 years, 3 years, it has drastically changed. It has drastically improved. Take me for example. I never thought about streaming, but all it took me was to download the streaming software, understand how that shit works, and with one left click, and I'm live. I'm live in front of millions. Like it wasn't really a thing which was that easy back then, but now, given that we have free internet, or let's just say free internet because it's super cheap in India. Like
Hmm.
internet prices are super cheap in India, and the availability also is very very easy. So that also gives us an upper hand, and that also increases the amount of people who are jumping into this category of work.
So it's like being normalized, right?
Yeah, they are normalizing it very well. So as I said, it's part of the generation gap. Like my grandmother might not understand what this might bring it for me, but my father does, my brother does. They know how YouTube is a very big thing. They see, like every now and everybody uses smartphone, and they realize the power of internet, and they know how anything can literally go viral at any point of time, and you can make like indefinite amount of money in very short period of time or even if not short period of time, but like you can make indefinite amount of money by doing something which you like, and you don't have to struggle about anything.
I feel like
Like,
when it's been normalized, it remind me of like T series versus PewDiePie. Like there's like a huge boost or
mm-hmm,
increasing audience of Indians joining YouTube or joining the internet.
mm-hmm.
So I guess there's some kind of
it
advantage
hmm. It all started with Mukesh Ambani bringing Jio to India, bro. So
with what?
what that thing did was they, like earlier, internet was so expensive that people used to spend it like so cautiously. People
Yeah,
were like, they only used the internet when they really needed to. But now that internet is free, like it's very cheap and
yeah.
it's practically unlimited, and it's literally a very fast and unlimited resource for every Indian nowadays. So people just spend countless hours on the internet without thinking about it. So how you said about the whole T series versus PewDiePie thing. So the amount of Indian viewers we have today, that thing has,
Skyrocketed.
yeah, that skyrocketed like way too crazy in like past 3 years, I'll say.
Yeah,
Past 3 to 4 years.
I feel like I need to find some, find some Indian audience too. So that's why I
Yeah,
have you on the show.
you will find Indian audience literally everywhere. Like, take it any industry, and you'll find an Indian working there or managing there, might as well leading there. Like, Indians are taking this space, bro. Like, you can see, like, let it be. Recently, the news came out. The World Bank president or some designation. I'm not really sure about.
Hmm.
Some Indian guy has been appointed for that. Then there is the UK president, of course, and whatnot. Like, Indians are everywhere. The social media presence is everywhere. Like, they are spreading like anything, and which is a good thing. Like,
Yeah,
they are finally realizing the power of internet, the power of social media holds.
and I think like yeah, it remind me of like like China have like I don't know like one child policy. They have so many people, and then they're trying to reduce it, and then it
Hmm.
kind of like destroys the economy now because like there are not enough people. I don't think India is gonna walk on that path of like self-destructing by restricting the population. I feel like the increasing trend of of like giving birth and the population growth is gonna keep on going for
Yeah, the
some time, and
population
it'll be
control when it comes to India, again, bro, it's crazy. Like, India just had number one and surpassed China recently, and
really.
yeah, it did. So India, as of now, when we're talking today, is the most populated, not like, yeah, most populated country in the world. And again, it comes with, like, how your financial stability is. So this is not something which, if the government imposes, everybody has to follow, or everybody will follow. I will use the word will instead of has, because
Hmm.
for me, for example, even if I, like, it again comes with personal preferences, which is
Yeah,
the utmost thing. But then again, for me, if I'm getting married someday, and if I'm planning my child or whatever it is, it's gonna be like, what, two, max three, not more than that, right? But there are people in India, like the older generation, they used to have like nine brothers and sisters, which
yeah. I
is
think that's the case
crazy,
in
which is
China
wild.
too.
Yeah, which is wild.
Like
Like,
my
nowadays people are realizing that that many amount of siblings, that many number of children isn't really necessary. But earlier, people didn't give a fuck. All they were focused on was, just another one, another one, another one, and I have no fucking clue why. And there's a very funny story associated with it.
mhm.
And people tend to say that there were no televisions back then, so people were really bored, and that is why you have like nine brothers. And that doesn't make sense to me. Like,
uh,
even though if you, but yeah, like, People have anything to say for anything, you know. But
I feel
nowadays,
like
I think the newer generation is finally understanding that this is not something which is needed, because as you know, inflation and everything goes up. It's not really that convenient to feed 9 children as of now as compared to 50 years earlier. You know, now it's absolutely like it's very hard to feed like 9 children as compared to feeding 2 children. Like our great grandpa somehow managed to feed nine of us, educate 9 of us, and whatnot. Like as you said, it's the same in China as well, right?
yeah, I feel like in the past they have more kids, because like, well, some reasons will be like maybe they'll die easily because there are less technology, less medicine, all the stuff like that. And
Could
also,
be a
and also like
case.
and also like this, like, how can I say it? Like the requirements, or like what the student demand, what the kids demand, it's not that crazy. They won't want like pizza all day. You can feed them with like normal bread
Yeah,
and normal
exactly.
stuff, and
So
then they'll be,
feeding them, nourishing them was comparatively very easy as compared to feeding and nourishing them now.
yeah, and they're like less standards, I guess, like lower
Yes,
standards.
yes. Also, it again breaks down to many, micro topics. Again, it has things associated with religion. It has things associated with one's own mindset, one's own wealth,
Yeah,
how
yeah,
they're planning on living on their rest of their life, whatnot.
yeah. But like basically, you can sum it up to like values or like belief. Like, yeah,
Exactly.
belief. And yeah, some people were
Not to
saying,
not to generalize anything, but nowadays, if you look at the population graph and everything, uh, like in Hindus, you will not find families with like absurdly large amount of kids as compared to in a Muslim family.
so
So
you mean
that's
like
how.
Muslim family will have more people?
Yes,
Yeah, I was trying to say that too. I was trying to say that like religion, like Muslim, probably have like probably encourage like a lot of like
mm,
reproduction, and Andrew Tate, he's like, uh, uh, the population of Muslims is gonna skyrocket, and I'm like, okay, I don't know if it's true, but maybe.
I mean, it could be either because there are going to be conversions happening, or it could be because Andrew Tate is going to go on a fucking spree, like quite literally. No pun intended.
So what do you believe? Like for like children, like having kids, or like you know, bigger stuff.
As in now,
I don't know. You tell me.
like, yeah, of
Like,
course,
for,
I'm
do you want
like,
kids?
yeah, I definitely want my own kids, but not today. Not
Not
like in
today.
5 years down the line. Like, I want to make sure that I'm financially stable enough to to fulfill every demand my child puts up in front of me. Just to clarify, I'm not saying that I will fulfill every demand he puts up in me. I'm saying I should be financially able to fulfill every demand he puts up in me. Like if he says he needs a PS5, I'm gonna see the situations. Should I buy him a PS5 or not? But I shouldn't be looking down on myself and thinking I want to buy him a PS5, but I don't have the money to buy him a PS5.
Yeah, it's like I can buy you a PS5, but I won't. Comparing to like I can't buy you a PS5, even
Yes,
though I won't.
exactly.
And
So I want
yeah,
to be the father saying, I can buy you a PS5, but you're failing in school, so no. Inst-
being an
Instead of saying,
asshole, being an
so
asshole, and be like, I can't buy you one, bitch, but
I can buy, but
but
I'm
I
not
won't.
gonna buy.
But I'm not gonna
Yeah,
buy, bitch. Okay.
I mean,
Yeah.
I'm 24, 25. I still don't have a PS5, bro. I'm gonna make sure he doesn't get a PS5 till 25. I'm just kidding. I'm just kidding.
Well, when your kids are gonna grow up, it's probably gonna be a PS11. or something.
maybe, maybe. That's the thing these days. Children are growing up way faster than older generation. Like I was 17 years old when I had my first smartphone.
Yeah,
Yes, I
you
was
don't.
17 when I had my first touchscreen smartphone.
Hmm.
Uh, and I see kids nowadays who are barely like 10, 11, and they're already watching YouTube on their mom's smartphone or whatnot.
I feel like
So,
there are gonna be consequences, like bad
uh,
ones, like if you're, not interacting normally with humans and speak with
yes,
language.
social life is going to get a huge impact on that. Uh, like, people are just, if they are so engrossed on the technological devices at such a short age, they're not going to do things which are meant to be done in the early days, you know?
Like I
Like
don't know if it's
playing in the field. You can't do that when you're 23. You can do that when you're 13. But what you decided to do when you were 13, you were watching YouTube shorts. You're watching Instagram. You're watching Snapchat or
and
whatever
you're
it is.
constantly getting the dopamine rush.
Exactly. Yeah.
You're not really you're not really paying effort for the reward, and then slowly it will like because it's unnatural, like comparing to like hunting for food and paying the effort by running towards the prey. It's kind of relatively unnatural comparing to those kind of lifestyle. And then one day you'll be like, why should I pay effort when I can
Exactly.
do it or I can get the reward immediately from other means?
Yeah,
I think
that's
it's
one
maybe
thing.
gonna be
And
soul crushing because like
yeah,
it's gonna lower your ambition. Maybe I'm not sure, but lower your ambition
it
because
will.
like
It can. It for sure can. Because if an 11-year-old already has access to internet, smartphone, and everything, he's not going to struggle for anything needed. Thus, he doesn't appreciate the value of what he's being provided with. Therefore, he will not be able to survive a day where he has to work for all those basic amenities instead of just getting them served in front of him.
and
Like
I
for
also feel
us,
like yeah.
yeah. So for us, internet was so expensive back in the day. I remember my college days. Even before my college days, like internet was so very expensive. We used to keep our internet off all the time. I remember, as I said, I was 17 when I got my first smartphone, right?
Hmm.
So we used to get 1 gigabyte of data for like somewhere around what 300 Indian rupees, which is somewhere around like $4. And I'm talking about like 6 years ago. So if you're gonna compare like today's money, it's gonna be like $10 or something. So $10 will result in 1 gigabyte of internet, and speed is 2G. We have no 3G, no 4G, no 5G.
Yeah.
So we used to keep internet off all the time. We only used to turn it on when required, like to call our parents, to video call our parents, or to check something on the internet or whatnot. So these days, it's nothing. The struggle is absent. Everything is just non-existent, and everybody gets, the younger generation gets everything for free, and they might end up taking it for granted.
Yeah, and I also feel like it's gonna make them more empty because
Absolutely.
you're feeding them with so many delicious food, like metaphor, and then
Hmm.
and then they'll feel like others are other goals or other things are hard to pursue, tasteless, you know,
Also, it will
mundane.
result in your bad, like a human body uh, produces dopamine naturally, right? But the
Yeah,
fact that they consume so much content which gives you high dopamine rushes, this will just end up their natural dopamine circuits are just going to fry up and not produce as much dopamine as required in a
I guess
longer
the
run.
threshold will increase. I'm not sure if about the study, but maybe I'll check it later.
Hmm. Because, for example, if one is just scrolling through Instagram and watching reels for like 30 minutes, right? And let's
Hmm.
just consider like every reel is like what, 30 seconds. So they're gonna be watching like 60 reels in 30 minutes, okay? And every reel is a new emotion, right? There could be, in one reel there could be a happy thing. In another reel there could be a, a, a random building collapsing. In the next one there could be a tiger roaming in the jungle. It's like various multiple unrelated emotions back to back to back to back, right?
Hmm.
So if your mind goes through such variable emotions in such a short span of time, like of course your mind is enjoying it and you are enjoying that content, but behind your mind is just unable to process all that stuff, and your dopamine circuits are just going to fry up because your body will seek for external dopamine more as compared to what it produces naturally.
I'm not sure if they'll be like that emotionally attached to like YouTube Shorts,
Hmm.
TikTok, or like things like that. But it may be an interesting topic to talk about. Maybe like
Exactly. People
yeah.
just end up, scroll endlessly, mindlessly. They just keep on scrolling, keep on scrolling. I mean, I do it sometimes. I'm not gonna be ranting everything on the name of these younger generation. I do it
Yeah, I do it
sometimes. Like,
sometimes too.
yeah. So if I'm lying on my bed deciding to sleep, it's 12 a.m. for me. I know I have to wake up at 7 in the morning, but still, I'm scrolling Instagram, and all of a sudden I see the clock and it's 1:20, and I've realized I've wasted like more than an hour
Hmm.
just by watching random content,
Like
which
two
I don't
hours.
even, yeah, which I don't even remember properly. Like you could, like if I've watched like 60 YouTube shorts, I can like have a strong memory of five of them because they somehow connected with me or they had an impact. But other than them, all of them were just entertainment source. So they just come and go,
Yeah.
That's how things are.
Well, I think I remember like reels or like those kind of short videos like in a really blurry manner. Like if someone sent it to me and I've watched it before, I'll be like, oh, I've watched this before. But if no one sent it to me again, I don't think like I will know. Like I don't think I'll remember it
Exactly, you won't
immediately.
remember it.
Yeah.
Yes. So that's how things are. Like your memory, like you will definitely identify if you've seen that content before, but you will not remember that content because that content didn't add any value to your life.
Yes, this is our generation.
And this is us talking
Yeah.
about ourselves.
We were about talking about our problems and our flaws and
But
it's
hey, I'm really happy to be a part of this podcast and part of the new initiative which you have started. Just to give a background context to every listener right now. I met this guy somewhere around what, 8 years ago, and he always wanted to do stuff. I'm not gonna go into much detail because I don't know if I'm allowed to,
it's okay to talk
but
about it.
it's okay. Okay,
Yeah.
so he has always been a passionate guy, and he was really into gaming just like me, but never really pursued it for some reason. Like he had a proper gaming setup, and
Yeah,
I
really
think I
expensive
think
setup.
yes, really, really expensive setup. Like, and we are talking about having a setup back in those days when people couldn't even afford a gaming laptop. We are talking like a really, really good
Like
setup back in the day.
2018, 19, something like that.
That's like 5 years ago. He has a god setup in which he can literally go pro in any game if he
But I
wants to.
was bad at gaming, maybe. I'm kind of bad at it.
Or
Anyway,
maybe you just didn't invest much time into it. But yeah, I'm really happy that you are again stepping back into something which you really love and enjoy, and and you started doing these podcasts, and you started recording stuff and editing and whatnot, and I absolutely love it.
yeah, it just reminds me of like a lot of stuff. And we kind of both went through a lot, I guess. Great.
Everybody goes through a lot. It's just
Yeah.
that everybody has their own struggles, and I think those struggles are important as well. Like
Mm.
if you don't go through anything, you will not succeed in life. You will not like fuck succeeding. You will not even survive, bro. Because if you don't know how to handle the basic issues of society, you just cannot. You just can't make it out.
I remember like there's a video saying like like when you need courage, God gives you difficulties or like scary stuff to make
Hmm.
you gain courage by learning it.
Hmm.
So it's like
Absolutely.
so life is like I don't know if educational psychologists would say this, but I believe that life is like a education, like consistent education. You keep on learning stuff, so you can get closer to the truth, so you can survive. Because you want to know the most accurate, truthful, most accurate statement of how reality works, so you can work it out and then become and how can I say it, like when you know more and you know more in a more accurate way, you're gonna survive. It's gonna protect
Mm.
you from difficulties and struggles.
Of course, and practical knowledge is the most superior form of knowledge, in my opinion, as well.
Mhm.
Like if you don't know how to handle the situation while being in that situation, it's useless. Like you could have a manual about it, but if you don't know how to implement it in real life, in practicality, you just like all of that bookish knowledge is down the line.
And that's why this show is called Emmanuel's Manual. It's trying to be like me and others trying to make up a manual to to show others that maybe there's a way, maybe there's some practical knowledge that we can use for
Of course,
the betterment of others.
experiences count, and
Yeah.
people learn from experiences a lot. So us sharing about various things in life and
Hmm.
us sharing about each other's experiences, definitely, I definitely think it helps every listener out there.
Back then, we were talking about like how people view about like how Indian people feel about like YouTubers, like online streaming and stuff like that. Like
Mm-hmm.
I was just curious, like because people have different like people that live in different cultures. Like
Hmm.
what's the most admiring job in Indians? Like is it like teachers, millionaires? Like
The most admiring job.
yeah,
Okay, okay. So let me break it down to you step by step. Okay, tell the person is in 10th standard. There's no pressure. Do whatever you want. Okay. The moment he passes his high school, there's a choice to pick out either if you want to go into the science stream or you want to go into the commerce stream.
what's commons?
Then commerce as in finances,
Okay,
numbers, maths,
yeah,
business
accountants,
analytics. Yeah,
marketing.
account. Yes,
Okay,
not exactly marketing because
marketing is
I,
hard.
I, I yeah, I don't know why, but Indian education system doesn't have that till 12th. Like you can have economics, you can have accounts, you can have all those other subjects, but yeah, definitely no marketing.
Okay,
So to answer your question, doctors and engineers, I would say,
doctors and
but
engineers.
yeah, doctors, engineers, teachers is yes, of course, teachers are there, but like if you ask any like if you do a survey and if you ask like 100 parents in India what they want their child to be, I'm pretty sure more than 50% of them will end up saying doctors or engineers.
Okay, so not nothing
Yeah.
about businessmen, successful business. You know,
So in
like day
India,
trading.
in yeah, I understand your concern. So what happens in India is if you yourself have a business, your son might join your business.
Yeah.
It's very rare that people who don't have a family business, who don't come from a businessman background, end up starting a new business and starting something. You know,
Hmm.
I mean, parents are very open these days. They really let their children do whatever they want. Like I'm taking my own example. Like as I said, I did my engineering. That I studied marketing. I did my MBA. I worked for 2 years for one of the Fortune 500 companies, and then I realized that this is not something which I want to do. I had a well-paying job. I was doing my 9 to 5s. I was happy. It was a 5-day week. Everything was fine. It was work from home, so I get to spend most of the time with my family and friends. But I realized that this is not something which I really wanted to do, and this is not something which involves my personal growth. So I dropped. I quit. I resigned from that job, and then I'm here talking in Emmanuel's manual and playing video games all day long. Because my parents, they see the potential about how, you know, being a YouTuber or doing something which you really like is better than doing which pays you more but you don't enjoy your life, you know. Like, I might be earning less than what I was earning before, but if I'm happy, they're happy.
If you're happy, they are happy. Well, that's like the complete opposite from like people in the past, I suppose.
Yes, of course.
Like in people in
People
the
in the
past, there'll
past
be
were
like a
like,
structure.
my child is going to be an engineer. My daughter is going to be a doctor. There's no second thought about it. People were so strict back then. They would just not let their child follow their passion, and they would, just, I'm not going to say force them, but the amount of pressure created just by their own family leads to that, you know, undeveloped pressure which the child has, because of which he just can't even imagine of doing anything outside their bonds. There are multiple Bollywood movies around this as well. Have you heard of the movie Three Idiots?
Oh, I think watched it.
So the movie Three Idiots also, portrays the same message. It's a story about three Indian students who meet up in a college, in an
Hmm.
engineering college, and one of them is filthy rich, the other one is middle class, and the last one is very poor. And when we are saying very poor, we mean very very poor. Okay, so all
Hmm.
three of them are there in the college to pursue their engineering degree, but they don't want to be engineers. The guy who's filthy rich has a crazy mind and ends up being an engineer, not even an engineer, like a scientist or something. The guy who belongs to a middle class family wants to be a wildlife photographer, but the whole picture revolves around how he says that his father won't allow it, and he will get, what, scolded, disowned, whatever it is. So that creates a, very unhealthy pressure in
Right.
the minds of those students, that either this or nothing. And the whole mentality of this or nothing is wrong, because life's way too big. Like there is nothing like A or B. It's always A or B or C or D or everything. There are millions of options out there.
Yeah, I feel like I usually look at it this way. It's like every choice is open about like a range, a definite range of infinite possibilities.
Exactly.
So although it's like definite in some sense, but there are infinitely slight variations that you can do to slightly alter your choice and then proceed to the next one. And and yeah, like people always think like there's like one choice. No, there's a range. There's like a spectrum. Maybe it's limited to a certain degree. Like like if you're in Hong Kong, you can't be in India instantly. But
Hmm.
in Hong Kong, there's still like that moment. There's still infinite of choices that you can do. You can talk, walk, jump down the building. Like there's a
Hmm.
range, but but really, there's also like an infinity amount of possibilities in some sense.
That's true. And the whole thing about people having such a tiny mentality about either this or nothing leads to multiple misfortunes, kids suiciding because of education pressure, because of other sorts of pressure, and that's very disheartening.
Yeah, but
So
like
every year India faces, like, I don't know the numbers, but it's way too much, to to digest upon. Like there are multiple suicide cases of like 15, 16, 17 year olds who did not make into their dream engineering college or dream medical college or any college in particular, and they just end up killing themselves, hanging themselves, instead of confronting it in front of their parents. And because they are scared, they're scared to talk to their parents about that they don't want to do this and they did not get the college, so they end up, suiciding, and which is fucked. Like you could be anything, but you decided to end your life just because you didn't get into that engineering college.
Yeah, there's like there needs to be a balance of like parents' guidance or instruction, and then and yeah, there needs to be a balance. Like you have to give them instructions and direction, because like some jobs or like some kind of behaviors are really like misbehaving or stupid. Like there's some
Hmm.
stupid choices that you have to tell your kids to like wait a second. That's not a good choice. But in the same time, you have to remain. You let them have some kind of freedom and let them fall or
I think
fail,
it
and
all
then
comes down to how open you are with your family and friends and parents and everyone. If you are open enough that you can talk to your dad and tell him uh, tell him openly that this is not something which you enjoy doing and you don't want to do this anymore, and if your dad is fine with it, then I don't think so there is a reason to end your life anymore, right? Because all those cases are because they are scared to confront it in front of their family, and they are ashamed by the fact that they did not get that college, that school, or whatever it is. You know, if you have a very well understanding with your family and you can sit down together and discuss things, I don't think so any of this will happen. And that's a good thing about the upcoming generation as well. Like we have already talked about a lot of negatives about the upcoming generation, but let's talk about a few more positives. This is one big positive thing, one big green flag about the upcoming generation, is that as they have, you know the availability of all the education and all the resources in the world, they are more aware of how the situation is working around the world, and they don't, force themselves or force. They're not going to be forcing their kids to do a certain thing. You know how the strictness, I mean, the discipline can still be there, but I
it
don't
needs to be
think so.
warmth,
Yeah, the
like
discipline needs
responsive.
to be there. Yeah, like your kid can be responsive, but definitely he won't be scared to come and talk to you that dad, I don't want to do engineering anymore and I want to be a photographer. Because nowadays everybody realizes the scope available in each and every position in the world, each and every profession in the world. Like if like 100 years ago, if somebody wanted to be a photographer, it's a joke, right? How
Hmm.
are you going to make your living out of it? But nowadays, if one of your child says I want to be a photographer, you know that there is a huge scope in that. You can go in the film industry and be a videographer there. You could go to a wildlife photography, like something like Nat Geo, Animal Planet, or whatnot. You could be like a modeling photo shoot or something. There are endless possibilities. So now that because you were educated enough and you have access to internet and you are woke enough to understand that photography is not a bad choice of profession, that leads to a better understanding between you and your child.
Yeah, I think like knowledge, being knowledgeable on the trends will
Exactly.
impact like you know like how they treat other possibilities.
Yeah, because
Uh,
you know what the market has to offer when
yeah.
it comes to different professions. As I said, in my case, like if 50 years ago I wanted to be a gamer, my parents would just sit me down. But now they know that things go viral out of nowhere. Like you're sleeping with 100 subs, one of your video goes viral, you wake up with 50,000. You never know. You can blow up any time. So they realize the potential and they are like, go for it. If that makes you happy, go for it. Also,
Uh,
mental peace is a very big thing which is required when you do jobs, right? At an early age. Because if your mind says that this is not something which you want to do, but your heart says you need the money and you have to keep on doing it, you're just gonna be in a very bad situation where you just can't get out because the money is good, and you are in a constant conflict with yourself because the work is not good or the
I
work
feel
culture
like
is not good. Yeah,
I feel like there are two things that are like worth like discussing or mentioning. Is that the first thing is like in the past when they stop you from doing that action, maybe it's actually a good choice, because back then it's not provided with enough resources, and the possibility of you to get that kind of success is like minimal. But in the future, in certain timestamp in the future, the same choice should be allowed, because the possibilities are open, and you have more chances of succeeding. So there's
absolutely.
more like a delay of like a gradual delay of like whether what the world needs and what you understand what the world needs. So there's a gradual delay. So some people will have that kind of delay and some people won't. And you're trying to like keep up, keep up keep up with the trend by knowing more about, this kind of truth, by knowing that, oh, in this time this is allowed, or this should be, encouraged, and then gradually opening those doors for your kids.
Exactly.
And the
It's just
second
about
thing,
realizing the potential
yeah, yeah. And the
of
second
your
thing is
kid
that,
and the world. Yeah, go ahead.
and the second thing is that, like in psychology, there are parenting styles. They're like authoritarian, authoritative, and the difference is that they both have discipline. Like like if I say that a PS5 is not something that you should have right now, I'll say no. That's discipline or demand. I demand you to do the homework. Like like I won't say excellently, but like do it well. But the difference is the degree of responses and warmth. So you have to explain it clear, and show your children what you want and give them warmth and support. So demand is
Exactly.
one thing, but the cases that you describe, the ones that they're fearful of the parents, and they're scared of telling the parents that I failed. Like that shows that that family have a lack of warmth or responses or communication between the parent and the child, and and the and the kind of the reasons or the causes of the problem is kind of lay between the warmth and responses. Because like the optimal way of like educating your children is to be responsive and also be demanding, like give instructions, have a direction of like demand or discipline.
Yeah, you should be the leader. You
Yeah,
should you should you should put in all the guidance which a child needs to survive in the open world.
yeah.
I
But
I feel like
also
a
you have
fucking
to
dad,
like,
bro.
well that, but like also you have to give out the warmth and show them that you understand them.
Exactly. You need to build that level of understanding so that your child is not afraid to tell you anything. Like anything means anything. It could be education, it could also be relationships.
And
Like,
people will think that it's easy to do, but I'll say that like first of all you have to prevent yourself from looking the world through a delayed lens. Like that needs
mhm,
like a lot of knowledge, and then you need patience for warmth, and then good instructions with like knowledge again, like well equipped knowledge. So whether if parents can do an excellent job on on these kind of issues and become like but of of let me look of authoritative instead of being authoritarian. Like the difference really comes down to are you like really knowledgeable and patient and other stuff. Well, okay.
so yeah, definitely. Like how open the child is to their parents, this will lead to how comfortable the life he's gonna be living mentally. like not physically, not any other financially, but like mentally and emotionally. Like if
Mm.
the child is very comfortable in front of their parents and he can discuss anything, that will lead to less stress, which will develop in his or her mind. It could be about education. It could be about something happening in school, somebody bullying your child. It could be about your child liking someone. It could be about relationships. It could be about anything.
Relationships. Okay, it kind of like remind me of relationships. Okay,
Remind me of the time when you had 7 girlfriends at the same time.
I have what?
No, yeah, go ahead.
No, tell me. I have what?
I, I think I was not. I shouldn't have exposed you like that.
I'm with 7 girls.
Yeah,
I don't. I'm a loyal person.
a loyal person to all 7 of them. I'm just kidding. I'm just kidding. I have no idea
Dude,
what you're saying.
I've only one ex.
Im-
Okay, officially only
Iman,
one.
Emmanuel's girlfriend. If you're listening this, I have no idea what
I have
I'm saying, and
no
I'm just messing up.
girlfriend
Okay.
or
Okay.
girlfriends.
Girlfriends. Okay. To
Okay,
all the
tell me about
listeners out there, this guy is available.
available. Only available only on Spotify, YouTube,
Only on
and Apple
Spotify.
Podcasts.
Okay, let's go.
Like
Quick
like selling
plug-in.
my.
Yeah, quick plug-in. Okay, so
Well,
you
okay,
wanted
tell
to
me.
talk about relationships, yeah?
Yeah, I can talk about it. I can ask you about it. You know, you're the pro. So you're dating, okay? I know you're dating, but I'm wondering,
Yes.
like, how's the relationship going? Tell
It's
me.
going amazing. It's
Okay,
going
how
amazing.
do your parents look at it? We talk about parenting style, and parenting.
Yes. So with me, I was very transparent with my parents from the very beginning. I met my girl in September 2019, August September 2019,
Remember the
and
date? I don't even remember the day I met my ex.
bro, trust me, you wanna remember the date. If you don't remember the date, you're screwed. Just a quick tip, okay? So yeah, so I met my person in September 2019, and I remember I disclosed it in front of my parents in December, like in 3 months. That's it. And I told them that she's my friend, and I
And you
made
nailed
my
it.
girl. Yep, I nailed it, and they were happy about it.
Ooh,
They were also happy about the fact that I chose a good girl. Alongside, they were happy about it that I'm telling them stuff and I'm not hiding and doing stupid things out there. Because at that time, I was in college and I was not living with my parents. I was living in a different city. So, of course,
ooh,
of course, I used to talk to my parents every day on phone, but they don't know what I'm doing, right?
right.
So it was really a good moment for me to let that off my chest, so that I don't have to worry about any of the things which are coming up front. Like if I have to go and meet her, I don't have to lie about it and say I'm going to meet my friend and then I go visit my girlfriend. I can simply say that I'm going to meet her, and they're like, okay, cool, good to go. So that
It's
that that relieves me, and it's been what, almost 4 years, and
nice.
yeah, it's been
Keep
almost
it
4 years,
going.
and everything. Yeah, keep it going.
I remember like recently,
Hmm.
I like there's a female friend, and then I have like dessert with her, and then I
Hmm.
send the photo to like my family's WhatsApp group, and then my dad's like, "Is that your girlfriend?" I'm like, "No," and they're like, and my mom is like, "Dad, don't don't overreact or don't say anything stupid." I'm like in my scenario, I don't know, like my dad is trying to like figure it out if I have a girlfriend, and my mom is like, "Okay, give him some privacy," like something like that. But
Yeah, it
in
goes both ways. I just think your dad's just pulling your leg, nothing more than that. That could definitely be the way you're telling.
yeah, and yeah, but like yeah, what I'm saying is like in your case, you tell parents after 3 months, great.
Hmm.
In my case, like just normal female friend, and then And then my dad's like, "Is she your girlfriend?" I'm like, "No." But I think like this few years, I don't know, like my parents didn't expect me, won't expect me to have a girlfriend. But I guess after a few years, they're gonna be concerned about it, and they're really like ask about whether I find a girl or not. Like I know it's not really because a traditional Chinese culture or something, but dating takes time,
Of course,
and probably I guess after a few years they will ask me if I'm finding anyone else or finding
they're
anyone.
just concerned. They're just concerned. A
Yeah.
girl fills up a huge portion in your life. Like a girl
Oh,
induces discipline in your life. A girl will fix you or
a good
fill.
one will fix you.
Yeah,
A
exactly.
bad one will destroy you. I got destroyed by my ex. I don't want to talk shit about it, but
Uh-huh.
I kind of like a lot of mental breakdowns back
Yeah, I
then.
remember that. I remember those days, bro. I was with you. Don't worry about it. I
Anyway,
remember our conversations and whatnot. So yeah, definitely. Also, it relieves the pressure of them finding a girl for you because they know that child is capable enough and they have found the one, and then they're chilling. You know.
they won't pressure me to find a girlfriend, but they will be concerned, I guess, after a few years. I
Yeah.
it's it's actually hard to find a good girl. I guess I don't know. Maybe I'm not that socialized. Like my friends say that I'm an extrovert, but I'm actually pretty introverted. Like I didn't dare to walk up to a girl and say like, "Hi, can I get your number?" Not really. I'm kind of shy.
I think the one which is meant for you will come at you no matter if you're introvert, extrovert,
Yeah,
ambivert,
like
or
no matter
whatever
the
words are
threshold,
available. Yeah.
no matter the threshold, if she's the right girl, she'll meet the requirement or the threshold, and then
Hmm.
will become
She'll eventually end up in your life from somewhere or the other.
calm.
Like she could randomly be your bus seat co-passenger. She could randomly be your coffee date. She could randomly be the girl you meet at a bar. She could be anywhere. It's just
Uh,
that
I'm a
I
good
like.
guy. I'm not gonna go to clubs, bars. I'm just gonna be me, be a
Okay,
really
okay.
good
Let me
Christian boy.
rephrase. Let me rephrase. That girl could be a college bench partner. You know, she could
What
be a lab partner, bro.
college bench partner?
She could be a lab partner. Who knows? So
Okay.
there is a saying. There is a saying which I live by,
Yeah.
which goes something like this in Hindi, which is समय से पहले और किस्मत से ज्यादा कभी किसी को नहीं मिलता. Which loosely translates to nobody gets anything ahead of time, and more nobody gets anything ahead of time, and nobody gets anything more than what they should be getting, or more than they have the luck for.
Why does this feels like something from the Bible?
I,
Like I guess
and
every religion has some kind of saying like that.
yeah,
Like you deserve what you
every
get.
religion is somehow interconnected. Like the good sayings are the same. Like feed the poor. That's a good saying. I'm pretty sure all every religion says that somewhere or the other. Help the needy. That's a good saying. I'm pretty sure every religion says that somewhere or the other.
Yeah.
So yeah. So, so talking about that, definitely like the one which is meant for you, you won't get her before time, and you won't get like things which you shouldn't be getting. So
And
yeah,
it's funny.
just
Like a friend of mine were like kind of a Christian, and he's like, I'm worried that what if God's plan is to not give me a girlfriend? Like, what if my life is destined to be alone in some ways? Like, I'm not gonna get married or something like that. And I didn't really know how to answer him, but maybe if you can't get a girlfriend in the end or wife, maybe it's meant to be in some sense,
Exactly.
and you
Also,
should be like
this,
relaxed about
yeah,
it.
also, like, there's no point being impatient about it. I think your friend is just being impatient about it. There's a lot of life ahead of us. Like, we are definitely grown ups, but not grown old enough to worry about such topics at the moment.
How long are you gonna? How long do you think you live? That's
That's
a
a
good
very
question.
that's a very arbitrary question, bro. I don't know if tomorrow I go to buy buy groceries and get hit by a truck, or I might live 100 years old. Like, it's a very vague question. But yeah,
Yeah.
I don't smoke, I don't drink, I don't do any sorts of drugs. So I think I'm good for like an extra 5 to 10 years as compared to the people who do all of that bullshit. So yeah, let's see about it. I'm not worried about that.
Do you know friends that smokes, and drinks?
Yeah, of course I have friends who
Yeah, I
smokes
have
and
friends
drugs.
like that too, and I'm always reminding them like, there are consequences, and they're like, it's my choice.
I don't. I don't. Because if they have made up a decision to do something which is gonna eventually harm themselves and their loved ones, I'm pretty sure they did it with like full thought behind it, and they are literate enough to understand how that thing is impacting them and their life. And if they are still not willing to fix themselves, then I choose not to interfere in their life.
I feel like there's like, how can I say it? Like there's a like you slowly grow up and know more,
Hmm.
but if you're a little child, I'll remind you not to smoke. If you're old enough, but like, how old is old enough? Like, how old will you consider like that person really thought it through? Because like, if I'm not mistaken, your prefrontal cortex won't be fully developed until you're like 25 or something. And even if you're 25 or something, you can still be stupid.
Yeah,
So
I
so
mean,
so what I'll do, like on my side, is I'll remind them for a few times, and if they didn't listen, I'll stop. But when the right moment comes, I'll say it again. But like, also I'm doing it in a way that it's kind of not like selfish, but not really selfish. It's like
mhm,
it's like I'm doing it because that's my responsibility, and if I don't do that
exactly,
and you died, that's part of it might be on me. So
exactly,
I'm making sure that my words are being heard, and I've did my part, so that even if you messed up, it's not my fault. I've tried. Like, and then I'll like like that is like the main. I won't like I don't want to make it sound like I'm selfish, but like you have to also
it
consider
has
like
nothing it has nothing with one being selfish. Like, for example, if you smoke and I'm asking you not to smoke, it will not help me out in any ways. It's not going to be like you're going to be sending me the cigarette money from now on. No, it's going to be improving your health, it's going to be improving your mental, it's going to help you live longer. And that's the only benefit which I give, is that my friend lives longer. So it's like 0% selfish and 100% care about the other person. But
yeah
if the person themselves is not willing to understand that, for example, if there is a kid who drinks and then returns home at like 3 a.m. and then abuses his mom and then goes to sleep, he's fucking himself up. He's destroying his own life. And if he doesn't realize that himself, nobody will, and nobody can help him.
yeah the right
You can
amount
you
and the
you
right
can
time
only
for
help
advice.
those people. Yeah, absolutely. You can only help those people who are willing to take that help. You know,
Yeah,
you
but
can
it's
only
like
help the ones who willingly want to improve in life or whatever.
it's like hard to find the fine line sometimes.
Yeah, of course, of course.
But that's life. We only know a slice of it. Even if life is expanding and there are more like the future is becoming the past, and there are more and more past and more knowledge or information. But
Hmm.
and in the same time we're increasing our knowledge, but it's only like a slice of the whole view or whole picture. So like we have to be humble, but we have to be but we have to also be trying to nail the right nail in the head, be accurate, and be and do what works in a sense, in the sense of like helping others.
That's true. That's true. People will find a way to, have justification for anything, either good or bad.
Good or
I
bad.
mean,
What? I mean,
what?
I mean,
I think
oh,
I think we both are talking about two different things.
are we?
I don't
Tell
think
me,
so. Nah, you
tell
tell
me.
me. How are you doing?
How am I doing? So, what do you want me to tell you? There's so many things.
There's so many things. Maybe we need an episode
Another
continuation
episode.
for that. Yes, definitely.
Do you want to end it
How?
here?
No, I mean, we can talk hours, bro. We've been friends
We,
for like 8 years. There are a million things we can talk about. There are a million things which we can discuss.
yeah,
But yeah, like it's endless, bro.
it's
We
endless.
can
We
go
can
on
just
all
talk
night.
bullshit all day, and it will be like fine because we're the boys.
Yeah, of course. And that's how friendship is. That's how friends are. You just talk random stuff all day, all night, and then still the next day you have plenty of stuff to talk about it again.
What do you think about friendship then?
What do I think about friendship? I
Like
adore
what
friendship.
what do you think like how much should we talk, like how much should we communicate and talk, like what, once per month, once per week or something like that? What
Hmm.
maintains the friendship, and like what's the meaning of friendship? Do you have any idea?
I I respect friendships a lot, and I think one should have like a handful of people whom they can call up at any hour, and they are ready to listen to you and ready to do whatever you want them to do. And you need those bunch of people in your life if you want to succeed. And regarding your question about how our friendship is lasting long even though we don't talk for months, I mean that's just boys, or maybe that's just us, or maybe that's just our generation. We
I
know
should
we are
text you more often. That's true though.
Hmm.
But like, yeah, they think that friendship will like kind of fade away if you didn't talk
i
too
don't
much. But
I
like,
don't really
there are some
think so.
friends like there are some friends that you can leave them alone for like months and then find them back later, and you can
Yeah, you
start
you
the
could be talking about, you could be talking after 3 years, and you'll be talking as if your last time you talked was yesterday. Like nothing changes
yeah.
for a few of them.
In terms of the tone, it will be like that. But the content, you like tell them what
Yeah,
happened for those 3 years. You like
yeah.
update them.
Regarding this, I have a story. Okay, so I recently met a friend.
Yeah.
Uh, the last time I saw him was in 2016 when we both were preparing for our engineering college admissions, and
Oh,
we both
that's
got our
long.
colleges. Yeah, and I met him last year December, I suppose. So that's like solid 6 to 7 years, I guess, or maybe more than that. 2016 is wrong. 2014 it was 2014. So yeah, that's solid 8 years. I met him after 8 years, and nothing changes. It's not like we were regularly talking on call. It was like once a month, twice every 6 months, or something of that sort. It's not like we were FaceTiming each other or whatnot. But when I came to know that he's working in my city, I call him up, and after his office hours, I go and I meet him, and we hug it out, and it just casually feels like nothing changed. And for the next 5 minutes, we're just talking about how we've been meeting after 8 years, and we are acting as if we are meeting after 8 minutes or something. We went out for a dinner, and everything was so simple. And that's just the thing with some people, right?
Yeah,
Like
is the
even
conversation smooth?
yeah, the conversation was buttery smooth because you have a million things to catch up on, but then again, you just want to live in that particular moment as well. So it's very overwhelming.
Ooh, nice. Like there's a friend that I know him since in secondary school, and
Mhm,
then and then he had a girlfriend. He has a girlfriend. He has a girlfriend,
mhm,
and he didn't really even talk in the group anymore. But then I was like, there's a few, I guess there's a week or something that he's free, and I asked
mhm,
him to join me to celebrate another friend's birthday,
mhm.
and the conversation is like nothing changed, and it even reminds me of like the time back in secondary school where there are only those two guys and me, and I'm like, wow, okay, so we left off like the topic left off really maybe a year or two ago, but the person doesn't really change, and I've but yeah, because I always got worried. Like I'll imagine like maybe this guy you watch, like Andrew Tate and and Jordan Peterson, and
Mm.
suddenly change like 100 degrees, and like become a new and different person, and then it'll be hard for me to communicate with him again, or in the same way. But then I realized, oh, actually the person still kind of stay the same. Like I thought, like
And it
if you watch like so much Andrew Tate, you'll become
mhm.
Andrew agitatable.
And agitatable. Okay. I learned a new word today. Agitatable. Okay.
Like like become so like suddenly become so masculine or something like that, and then
Mhm.
you find him having a really different worldview or something like that. Like I always imagine if this kind of scenario to happen, but for now, I feel like people still stay the same, or like even if they change, you can't really not know it easily in one or two like gathering or something like that. Like I thought they would change. I thought like there are lots of different things that happen.
And these are the best friendships, to be honest. The one which doesn't change. The one which stays the same no matter how much time it has already been with you guys talking or whatnot.
I feel like it's hmm, I feel like it's okay to change, but you have to let me catch up. That's it.
Definitely. And I
So
think we should catch up more often, right?
yeah, I did
Definitely.
talk to you more these days, right? But like
Yes, of course.
I feel like we should talk more. Next
We
time.
should definitely talk more. And I loved being here on the podcast. It's my first time being on a podcast, and I really, really enjoyed it. And it feels kind of weird how casually we were talking about everything
Yeah,
because our conversation usually end up making weird jokes and laughing more than half of the time. But we can't
we
be.
can say inappropriate things anytime, but
Yes,
you know,
not on the podcast. Let's keep
no,
it safe for work.
it's okay. It's okay to do it in the podcast, but maybe not today. I don't know.
Yeah, maybe some other day.
Mhm.
Maybe some another episode where you re-invite me to the podcast.
And I'll get you smoke weed and be like, "Oh my god, you are so high."
Okay, I think we should wrap it up.
Okay, wrap it up. Okay,
Thank you so much for having me,
so I'm
and it
gonna.
was
Should I type like I'll type your Instagram on
my
the
Instagram.
your Instagram on the description. And shout out
Okay,
to your YouTube channel, which is like, tell me,
yeah,
tell them.
that works definitely. Thank you. Are you done recording? Are we still recording?
Yeah, we're still recording. I'm waiting for you to tell them your YouTube channel.
Oh, okay. So you might want to edit the ending because it was quite clumsy.
Okay, it's
Yeah.
okay. It's okay. I won't do it. Okay, I'll end it now.
Okay,
Bye.
no worries. So yeah.
See ya.
All right. See ya. Bye bye. Thank
See
you
ya.
so
Bye.
much.